Hi, David.
Hello.
I wanted to talk to you today about breaking the back button. What does that mean to you?
In a web browser, a history of your session is always stored so that you can press back to go to the previous page that you were on, back again to the previous page before that, and you can press forward to go back to where you were. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but breaking the back button means that what the user expects to happen when you press back doesn't happen. So either it doesn't go backwards or it goes back too much. Yeah, it's considered a bad practice, right? To illustrate this, before we go any further, I thought I'd show you a quick example. Starting out on the Facebook mobile site on my phone, I pressed the hamburger icon and then I tapped on Marketplace. In my mind, that's one navigation step, right? I've gone from the home page to the Marketplace.
You've gone to a new page.
Yeah. I then do a search. So I actually look for Ring sensors for their alarm system. You know, the Ring doorbell, they have an alarm system as well. What I do is I tap on one of those items, one of the listings. So that's the fourth step, right? So I've gone homepage, Marketplace, search results for Ring sensor, and now I'm looking at an individual Ring sensor that someone's selling on Facebook Marketplace. And at this point, I decide, actually, that's not the right one for me.
Okay, you want to go back and see the next one in the list, essentially.
Yeah, I want to go back to the search results and look at some other Ring sensors that might be for sale near me. By the way, I did test this, and the same result happens whether you press the back in the website or if you use the browser built-in control on Android and press back. The same thing happens, and what happens is, as you're about to see, we press back and we go right back to the Facebook homepage. So not the one step back that I was hoping.
Not just two steps either. Yeah. I thought that you were going to go back to the Facebook Marketplace, the start of the Marketplace. But you've actually gone way back to the start of Facebook. You have to do the search again.
Yeah, exactly. So every time you want to look at an individual item, you have to do the search again. It seems to only affect the mobile site. And I did some digging to find out what was going on. But I'll save that for in a moment. I just wanted to show you this quote. So this quote's from someone called Rowan Simpson, who says, "The back button is one of the first concepts that somebody who is new to the web learns. It gives people the confidence to click links safe in the knowledge that they can always return to where they were." And I like that because it really spells out the importance of how reassuring the back button is. People know that they can undo. It's like the undo of browsing the web, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is, yeah.
That quote, believe it or not, was from 2007. Jacob Nielsen first talked about this topic in 1999, according to what I could find.
Wow. Back when the web was brand new.
That's 22 years ago now, and people are still breaking the back button in 2021.
So we haven't quite nailed down how important it is to people.
The way that Facebook page was broken is that they were opening a new browser window.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah. So when you tap on the individual product, it opens in a new tab. And actually, if instead of pressing back, you close the tab in the browser, you can go back to the search results. But that's not what the user would expect. It's certainly not what I would expect to have to work out how to close a tab.
No, of course. Yeah, weird.
But that is a common way people break the back button. Any sort of pop-up.
You've altered the history. You've entered a new sort of timeline.
Yeah, you're on a fork, aren't you, by having a new browser window?
You've forked the timeline. Just like in Back to the Future. He forked the timeline in Back to the Future 2. He forks it right up.
The second way people can break the back button is by using a badly designed redirect.
Right, okay.
So I don't know if you ever had this where you browsing a website and you press back and it kind of goes back, but then it goes forwards again.
No? What?
So you're browsing the web and you decide you want to go back and you press the back button.
Yeah.
But on the previous page was a redirect to the page you're on. So it bounces you back forwards again. So pressing back kind of does this load of the previous page and then it reloads the current page. So it
I see what you mean.
You end up back where you were. So no matter how many times you press back, it keeps bouncing you forwards again. You press back and it bounces you forwards.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, I think I have seen that before.
So if you use the built-in 301 and 302 redirect, which is like the standard for web redirects, then this doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
Okay.
But if you use like a meta redirect or something that's not really recommended, then that can cause that.
Okay.
So the third way, and this is one that I think is on the rise, is changing content without changing the URL. It used to be, in fact, it still mostly is on the web, that clicking a link took you to a new page, right? You go to a complete new URL and the browser keeps that history.
Yeah.
But these days, a lot of content is loaded dynamically by JavaScript. So you're on the same page, you click a link, and it's actually fetching some information and just sort of replacing it on the same page.
Yeah. Okay.
Currently, the buzzword is SPAs, isn't it? So single page application. So that's essentially the whole concept of what they're built around, is replacing the content without changing the whole page.
Okay, yeah.
And they have a ton of benefits, by the way. I should say they have a ton of benefits. But if you don't do it right, you're going to break the back button.
That's it. It's very clever, and obviously has some very clever functionality. But if it's breaking what we already know, and you know the core principles of the web, then
well, since HTML5, they added something where a single page application can basically tell the browser that the user is navigating. Like you can push your own stuff into the history, into that chain.
Right. Okay.
And a lot of frameworks will handle that for you. So if you use a fairly standard router on a modern JavaScript framework, it will all be handled for you. You're not breaking the back button. It's all fine.
Okay.
But as soon as you go off piste or maybe use some kind of tin pot framework or anything like that, you can run into this problem.
Okay. As long if you try and make things more complicated than they should be, then you might run into problems.
Well, I think it's if you go custom and you don't think about these things. Bad state handling. So have you ever logged into a bank where it says like, don't, whatever you do, press back? And if you do, it kind of logs you out or something weird happens that you don't expect.
Yeah, so what's going on there? When a bank says don't press back, I just assume that, I don't know, it might load something twice or something weird like that.
Well, I think what's happening is the server is kind of maintaining a state about where the logged in user is. So you log in as David Ball to the website, to your bank, whatever it is. The bank server is kind of maintaining where David is in that process. And if you press back, all of a sudden the server is out of sync with where you are. But of course, that's not how the web's built. The web's built to be stateless. You should be able to just request any URL and it should be fine. But that's bad design on their part. Or maybe it's some misguided attempt to be more secure or something like that.
Okay. I get a bit more nervous using bank websites probably than most people would, because I know at what point websites might fail. If I'm like transferring some money and I press the back button and then press escape and then close the browser and turn the computer off, I don't know what's going to happen. I might just lose all my money. Who knows? Who knows these things? Probably won't. It'd be fine. But who knows?
I think we're agreed that breaking the back button is bad and you should never ever do it, right?
No.
Okay, but wait. Okay. It's not always quite so clear cut.
What? Why? Are you going to argue now that sometimes it's okay?
Okay, so let's do a little tiny quiz. I've mocked up here this fake website that is in no way...
Twittle? What's Twittle?
It's in no way a takeoff of anything you've seen in your life before.
All right, okay, brand new. Completely original concept.
Yeah, so this is a really, really simple mock-up. And so we've obviously got these users here and they've made some posts, for example. It's just a really simple chat-style messaging app type thing or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We know what it is, even though it's brand new. Yeah, okay.
Clicking on one of these things in the interface brings up a modal with, maybe the full text or some more information about the user or whatever it is. It brings up a modal, okay?
I see, right. So we're on the same page, but we've got some content showed on top of it.
Question to you, should the user be able to click the back button to close the modal? What would you expect?
I would say yes, because even though you're on the same page, some new content has arrived, and so there's a new state to the page. So I think, yes, pressing the back button should remove the modal and take you back to the page in its original state. You
would say that in this case, the back button should close the modal?
I think so, Yes.
What about in this example? So here I've just badly changed this so that now we have this kind of panel that slides down, expanding a panel. Should clicking back close that sliding panel?
Oh, okay. I see where you're going. So that's very similar to a modal, isn't it? The same information is being shown. It's just that it's inserted into the page rather than overlaid over the top of it. In that case, a back button, you probably wouldn't expect a back button to sort of, what's the opposite of expanding? Contracting an area, would you? You wouldn't expect that.
So this is commonly called an accordion, isn't it? So you're like compressing the accordion. So, okay. Just going on that one further then, I don't know if you've ever seen some of the modern, I think some Shopify sites do this, where the checkout is an accordion. So you'll start off with step 1 and it'll be like enter your postcode. And then as you complete that step, it slides up and then it's like now enter your credit card details is the next step. And so it's a step-by-step accordion checkout. So you just said no pressing the back button on an accordion should not go back a step. But I think in the case of a checkout, it should. If you've got an accordion checkout, because that's very step-based, isn't it? You're stepping through. I suppose that's the difference. In a checkout, you are stepping through bit by bit. It's a different use of an accordion, isn't it? Whereas in here, it's kind of you could have multiple of these panels open at once.
Yeah, your example there, that makes sense. Essentially, each step of the checkout is a separate page. So I would expect that pressing back would take you to the previous stage. But that's more than just expanding some content, isn't it? That's expanding content that's big enough for the whole page.
Sometimes it's a grey area.
That's not clear, is it? Okay.
The other one that seems quite common is filtering and sorting. So, if you go to like a product listing page, say like on an e-commerce site, and you search for something, and then they offer you some sorting, like sort alphabetically or by price, high to low. What would you expect there? Would back remove the filter, or is it going to leave the page entirely?
That's a good point, yeah.
Out in the wild, this is inconsistent. There isn't a consistent approach to whether you should or shouldn't go back in that case.
I suppose sometimes the filtering happens kind of instantly, doesn't it? But if you're on, say, eBay, for example, and you want to sort your search by cheapest first, but it's actually on, maybe it's on expensive first, then you change it to cheapest first. Pressing back, you'd probably expect it to go back to the screen before, wouldn't you, rather than changing your filter?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It completely depends, doesn't it?
I think the key here is think about what the user would expect. But I would really like to hear, if you're watching this, what you think. Should, on a filtering and sorting type interface, should the back button remove the filter or should it go back? Well, how should it work? If you want to leave us a comment, be interested to hear what you think.
Yeah.
To summarize, if you want to be a better developer, don't break the back button. And if you're not sure, then think, what would the user expect? If by some miracle you enjoyed this video, then there's a support number on screen now. No, I'm kidding. If by some miracle you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel so you can get a notification about the next one. Is it ever okay to break the back button? Leave us a comment below with your thoughts, and I will enjoy reading those.
Oh, and if you fancy buying some Unusable podcast merchandise, t-shirts are available. Da, 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 da. And also, we do hoodies. And they're actually really good hoodies.
We also have a podcast. If you want to search for Unusable Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Our music is by Gold5472. You can email us at podcast@theunusable.com, and we're also on Twitter @UnusablePodcast. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Bye.